And looks like we're live, Ross.
Wow, live again.
For the first time in
months.
What's up, everybody? Yeah. 3, 2, and oh shit, hold on. Looks like we're now. I know we're live. What's going on, dude?
Man, I'm just glad to be back.
Well, it's not Gun News Weekly tonight, but it's a Thursday night with Ross and Kevin Ketchup. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
Hope everybody's doing well.
Good to catch up with family, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to do the music intro. Ross and I were trying to find something that was appropriate and like not going to get us booted as soon as we came back. I was thinking the Stones would be good, but hold on. Here we go.
You think you can handle this ka-dunk-a-dunk-dunk?
All right. You think you can handle this ka-dunk-a-dunk-dunk, Ross?
Sure. I'm good, whatever the hell a Dunkin' as it is. So.
No, Wolf Blitzer said it once. What's up, Too Hottie? What's up, Boom Outdoors? Blind Shooter is in, as well as some dude named League of Paredes. Paredes.
Come
the
on.
League of Paredes. I don't know who that guy is. But there, you know, Corzo's here. I know Dan's driving, so what's up? I knew the regulars would jump in. And the reason I wanted to do this was basically I get all these messages on different videos and stuff like that. When's Gun News Weekly coming back? What's up? You know, it's been a while. And it has. I haven't done live stuff in a long time. What did we stop? Like 5 weeks after February. So it was like end of March was basically the last of the Gun News Weekly stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So, it was shortly thereafter. Yeah.
Into spring, early, into summertime, crazy. So here we are. It's
life-changing events, huh? I mean, seriously, dude. Talk about life-changing events.
Shit, middle of the summer, and here we are. Standby, and here we are. Doing our thing. In Ross, can you make sure you're on? I don't know where it's on Facebook. I think it's on my page. See if anybody jumps in there and puts any questions in there. If you don't mind, just monitoring.
No,
I've actually checking out the YouTube for the first time in a while. It's interesting not having to have all these stories lined up and all that kind of stuff as we were. But again, same digs.
It says you was live, Kevin. That's what it says. It says Kevin Record was live.
No, I was live for a second just saying, hey, remember that was you and me talking about.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So go to the actual live one before that. Ghost Tactical is up in the house. What's up? Make sure you check out Ghost Tactical over on YouTube as well. So anyway, I wanted to catch everybody up, kind of let them know what's going on. I'm doing some rearranging with some things in the office, Ross. We'll be talking about some of this stuff in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about what's going on. I got a short list, basically just a quick summer update, that kind of thing. Let you know what's been going on because it has been an interesting one to say the least. Well, all summer long, Schwell sucked. He brought nothing positive. He didn't add to the conversation. He just trolled people as usual, and I'm sure he'll. Oh, speaking of. Anyway,
Ross.
Oh wait, whoops.
Wow, live again.
There we go. Sorry about that, Ross. Technical difficulties. It's been a few months. So the summer comes, and basically, again, if you're new to the show or you've never seen this stuff before on Kevin the Tech Daddy channel, we were doing Gun News Weekly every Thursday night for 5 years. Bunch of friends and co-hosts joining us all the time, talking about all the stories, talking about all the events that go on out there in the world with guns and people defending themselves legally, all that kind of stuff. And Second Amendment rights, product, gear reviews, all that fun stuff. And then we had one of these school shootings right here, literally in my backyard with my kids huddled up in a closet. 2 girls and a cousin of theirs, another girl. And the aftermath of that kind of changed everything. So for 5 weeks after the shooting, it was kind of giving people updates on what was going on over here. The Gun News Weekly, Ross?
It was a very emotional 5 weeks. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if you've taken that stuff down or what, but if you haven't seen those videos, you should, because it's real life, man. It's how people react to these things. And it's, it was a life changer, dude.
Yeah. So basically about the 5th week, decided to just go on by myself and say, hey, I need to take a timeout. And the reason was, and we'll get into this later tonight for sure. The reason was I realized that as the pro Second Amendment advocate, go get your training, make sure you carry a gun where you can, protect your family. It's up to you. It's your responsibility, all that stuff. It all rang true. It all still does. But all of a sudden, true enough, the media created this crew of kids that are right here, again, expressing their First Amendment right to stand up and say, hey, this is what I believe. And it's pretty much in direct opposition to what a lot of the people watching Gun News Weekly believe, including myself. And so rather than get into a tit for tat with a bunch of, quite frankly, uneducated people, not just the kids, but the people that are advising them, parents, people reacting emotionally to this whole thing, I had to take a step back. And it wasn't easy. So in essence, what I decided to do was take a few weeks off and figure out where my head was with the whole thing. And then, if you know me, it's cheesy, but I use the term serial entrepreneur. You know, that's just kind of where I am in life. I love looking at something like this and saying, wow, there's the life purpose all of a sudden that you've been building towards. You know, hosting Gun News Weekly for 5 weeks, making all these contacts in this industry with the different trainers, the different people that teach people active killer, shooter solutions and that kind of stuff. Just everything about it seemed to kind of make sense. I just didn't have a real direction for a while. So again, I sat on it. I meditated. I hung out with the girls and made sure I was there with them. There was still a lot to do in the months that were following. So it became pretty clear that I was going to do something. So I sat down and put together a real plan and created basically a plan to write a book would be the first part. And then from there, take those experiences, put them in audio as an audio book so people could download that and listen to that on iPods or whatever it might be, iTunes. Give some of the proceeds, as much as possible, to the daughter of one of the victims that no one talks about really, and go forward just putting the message out there and the story out there. And from there, get on a live show and start talking about those types of topics. Not getting away from guns, never talking about EDC again, but getting more towards the issues at hand that are in the book. So in essence, create a book, create the content, get it out there, and then restart a live show where we can talk about these issues as adults and not make it so emotional. Because what I realized was, in essence, the big picture was I'm logical about all this stuff with the stats and the guns and the numbers and FBI reports and all this other stuff that I'm aware of. And I was living amongst a ton of people, including myself, who were emotional. So there was a logic side to the argument and story and an emotional side. Therefore, the loose name of the book is right there. That's how it is. It's logically emotional, and it's a damn unique perspective. And that's also after, again, 50 hours of active killer training that I immersed myself into, going on a 3-day trip to Minnesota and hanging out with Todd Fossey and his guys at IDS, meeting guys like Aaron Giannetti, who literally just released an entire book. And if you have not read this, I'll pump this every time there is a show. This is a great book. An honest look at your role in the age of mass violence, how to survive an active killer. It's a great read. It's logical, and it's a great one to have. So definitely check that out. Available on Amazon. Thanks again to Aaron. He helped me more than he knows. But one of the keys to getting this grinded out, and I'm at, according to the word count right now, I got another document that's active. So hold on, 69,000 words on the main doc, and another standby. What was it, 2,600 in that one? So just over 70,000 words. And he helped me. He just said, just get to it and be consistent. Get to it and start grinding. So there you go. That's what I started doing. And in essence, you have, you know, the beginning of the book is basically the story of my family and where we are and who the tack daddy was. Then we talk about it's, you know, just the introduction, and then we talk about that day, the text message that came in, everything that we did afterwards, reflecting on all of that from my point of view. Everything from, you know, helicopters and huge piles of backpacks because they didn't let the kids take them home, and you know, the realization that just, you know, a mile and a half down the road there were parents that were not going to have their kids reunite with them that day. Talk about the one question that can't wait in the first chapter, which is why did the officer outside and the responding officers not rush the building? Why, after everything since Columbine, every person I've talked to, everything has said, you don't wait for help, you don't do anything, you go and you stop the threat. You can step in on that one, Ross.
Well, I take it from a distant perspective, but you know, we've talked often about, you know, training and being prepared, because you don't really know what you're going to do when that situation arises. And those guys failed, man. And that's why you train, and that's why you train often, is so that you're prepared for those situations. But it goes to show you that even the best can be thwarted by their fear.
Yeah. Again, I address some interesting things in this book, no doubt about it. Let me tell you more. I talk about Coach Feist and the other coaches that you might have seen on the ESPN memorial that they did. And then I talk about the next 30 days. You know, the first day after the memorial over at the Candlelight Vigil that you might have seen on TV. My realization that it was time to shut up. And I talked about that in some of the live shows at the end there. You know, it wasn't my role to go and say, yeah, but 4,000 people a day, according to the FBI statistics, say, you know, they're going to mitigate, stop, or prevent a crime every day using their gun. So stop carrying the, you know, sign that has a gun with a big slash through it. 11th grade student who saw her friend get shot. It just didn't make sense. So I had to shut the fuck up. So I did. I talk about the memorials that popped up, both at the school and over at the YMCA. I talk about the CNN town hall. Remember that night, Ross?
I do.
And Allie was in the choir at the end with the one-liner and participating with the kids that, you know, wrote the song real quick, and they got all the attention. But going back to that CNN, this is the other thing. So let me take it another step back. It's hot here, and every day I wake up, I get the kids where they need to be or whatever, whether it be camp or now back to school, and get my coffee, get my breakfast, and then I literally sit outside by the pool until it gets too hot or the computer gets too hot. And I've gotten this whole system with an ice pack and a gel pack on top, Ross, because that thing gets hot as shit on my lap. Mm-hmm. But I like the sound of the waterfall, and I just have gotten into a zone of, once again, being consistent with it. And the beauty is, as soon as it gets to about 11:30 sometimes, it's hot enough. I've got enough where the battery power has drained. I know I know how many words I'm writing in about a 45-minute period. I'm writing about 1,000 words if I'm just jamming. Sometimes I have background music as well, or a podcast or something just to pass it. But I'll have a concept and I'll concentrate that on that for 1 or 2 or 3 days, get it all out first in a quick outline, and then bang, 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 just literally stream of consciousness thought, get it all out, quick edit, boom, that concept is done, add it to the master, on to the next one. And I've had, these are all the lists. I designed the website on a pizza thing. Real shit. But like, here's an example of the type of, so again, I kept it all because I'm not going to throw it out, but here's an example of all the different chapters with all the different sub chapters. And then I start writing notes along the way. And then at the end, I inevitably write a bunch of notes that I have to add to it. So that's been the process. So anyway, when I talk about the CNN town hall, I think I watched that thing once or twice before I actually started writing on it. And it's infuriating. The way it was set up, the way it was executed, the way that Dana was treated, the way that the kids treated adults, the way the crowd responded, despite all of the emotion in the crowd, it was shocking. If you go back and watch it, it's shocking. The way that the sheriff, who we'll talk about, he gets a whole section to him. There's a whole section. Section 2 is the real BS, failed leaders, the BSO, the BSCB, and part called I Have Questions. They failed so dramatically, yet at the town hall, go back and watch it. The deflection of responsibility is nauseating on all this shit, but there they are on CNN.
I totally agree.
Crazy. So again, a couple days on that one, I remember just getting really pissed off. A section on taking your two girls to 3 funerals in a week. Still carrying, a little sidebar. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a read. There's going to be Facebook posts. So like February 14th, the day that changed our lives forever, at the end of that chapter, I've got my post that night, Pincus's post that night, my friend from the CSPD who was on site helping kids survive that night. And I've got those. So I think there's going to be like copy. There's going to be Facebook posts. There's going to be a lot of pictures. And there's going to be sidebar, little things. So one like still caring. You know, I realized during the 3 funerals, I wasn't just going to stop. You know, I had all these people saying, you know, are you done with guns? Are you FUD now? Da, 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 da. No, I was carrying extra magazines with a suit and taking my girls to, you know, public places where they were obviously going to be worried about that shit. So, an interesting one about shocking messages from a couple of people that, again, didn't really approach me the way I thought they would when all this shit went down. Kind of came at me like it might be my fault. Back to campus family night was a section because we all went back that night on a Sunday at like 4 in the afternoon, went into the drama classroom. The teacher retold the day as that's where all these kids were when this went down. I saw the room that the girls were in. We sat there and looked at the building where this all went down up close. They had a fence around it. And then knowing that your kids had to go back there, you know, the next Wednesday. Section on back to school the night before, thinking about that. Driving through the car line with all the cops there and all that stuff. Got a lot of cool relative video to supplement some of this stuff because it's easy to write about it. It's way cooler to be able to put a narrative out there and then have video that you can run with it to really show. I grabbed some stuff from the internet. Some people have written some really cool stuff, and with their permission, I'm going to add it to this. The Guardian Angels are here, Ross.
Okay.
Like they're here. Shout out to Cobra and Black Cat. They're my new homeboys on Facebook, but they have decided that they're not done. School year started. They're here. They're getting support from people, and they're here reporting back and letting people know on Facebook that they're on campus. So.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. I'll fly through these other ones. Talk about Rob Pincus's visit here. I talk about filming the Survivor picnic where I went over and request of the police department, the CSPD, I actually got to film for them a short video series that allowed them to see the first responders who helped the kids that survived. They hadn't seen each other, so they set up a picnic. No press, so you won't find any media on it out there other than the official pictures from the CSPD and the video I have. Going back to Big 3. Got some interesting things to share with you, Ross. You're not going to believe, but I got a chapter called My Neighbor Mark. Pretty unbelievable what this guy's done along the way. Yo Vikings was the play that my daughter was supposed to be in at the beginning of March with 4 nights of shows that got cut to 1 show. They used to have 3 or 4 schools come, you know, all the middle school kids would come and help fund this thing by showing up to see it, and it got cut, and she got the lead, and she killed it. She still went out there and just did her thing, and she's amazing. And then we went down to the BBT Center where she performed on stage with a Broadway star named Christy Altamore, who stars in Anastasia. Ross, you there? You in trouble on me. I see you're muted. Anyway, yeah, I think we lost Ross. That's all right. Talk about getting into training. I again, like I said, I did class up in Minnesota. I did a class down here in Homestead with Boone and Tonto from Battleline Tactical Active Killer scenario training. I absorbed all of these FBI reports. I watched a bunch of videos. I read some books. Go ahead, Ross. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, right on. And
I'm just having
absorbed all that stuff. So as I'm writing all this stuff down and getting into it further, I have some perspective on it. I teamed up with Hiss, our boy Justin Heitman.
Justin, yep, he was on earlier.
I'll talk about the products later, but basically he's on a mission to coordinate first responders, teachers and admin, local administration and leaders, etc., so that there's a real plan in place before, during, and after should something like this happen.
That's great.
More proactive rather than reactive, looking at all the different things, including security and that kind of stuff. All right, so then we get on to part two, which is I call the real BS, failed leaders. I talk about the BSO. I talk about the Broward County Public School Board. Dude, it's unbelievable when you find out what these people do and did and missed and overlooked and covered up and buried. It's unreal.
It's sad.
It is.
Because people died because of that, Kevin.
Yep. I have a whole bunch of questions about the event itself, not Alex Jones, not did it happen, not no, nothing close to that. But there's a bunch of stuff that happened that day that still haven't been addressed in my mind. The order not to enter being the big one, the one that came in that had the BSO people that were stacked up ready to go in, had Coral Springs Police Department people who showed up later go past them. The fact that there's a video system at the school and still no one has justified to me why it was on a 20-minute delay. Things like that. I've got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of them. There's a bunch of stuff that's come to light. You'd be surprised. And then we talk about missed signals. And this is where it gets fucking nuts. I haven't read this or shared this with you, Ross, and I'm curious to catch up on the chat in a second. But if the chat could pause for a second and listen to this shit. Stand by, I gotta find it. Where the hell did I put it? Here it is. All right. You with me?
Yeah, I'm in and out, but I'm here.
Unclassified, the FBI missed all of the signals, Ross, including this phone call that they released the whole thing on it. I'm going to read some of it to you, what this woman said to this FBI agent. Thank you. How can I help you today, man? It goes into it. This guy, she goes on. I'm going to be the woman just talking. He's only 18. He's got the mental capacity of a 12 to 14-year-old. His mother just passed away on the 1st of November. He's got Instagram accounts. He started off saying he wanted to kill himself. I called the Parkland, which is where he lives, Parkland, the police department. I talked to Officer blank blank. Didn't hear anything on it, So I left it. I gave him all the information I had, and recently, now he switched it and he wants to kill people. And he put that on Instagram about 2 days later. He took it off. If you go on Instagram pages, you'll see all the guns he's into. And so I'm afraid something's going to happen because he doesn't have the mental capacity. He can't. He's so outraged if someone talks to him about certain things. And he pulled a rifle on his mother before she passed and wanted to get money. The whole problem is he's 18 and his mother, blah, blah, blah. He goes on about this and the other. He got her Social Security, da-da-da-da. If they think it's something worth, hold on. I'm very concerned about this, and I just want someone to know so if they can look into it. If they think something is worth going into, fine. If not, I know I have a clear conscience, and if he takes off and just starts shooting places up. And did he say, Ross, mute yourself. And did he say he would do that or he just wanted to, ma'am? They said. She says on the Instagram, he says, quote, I want to kill people, unquote. Yeah, let me see. Yes. That she repeats it again. I can give you the Instagram accounts and you can look at them and you'll see the pictures. Yes, please do. She gives him all the names of the accounts, blah, 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 blah. Here's where it gets crazy. And that's where, and now it's him cutting up animals and things like that, little animals. Right now it's just frogs. And I know for a fact it was a bird one time. Just to give you a little background on him. You know how a bird will fly around the backyard and then hit your glass door? Yes. That's what happened. He brought the bird in the house. He threw it on his mother's kitchen counter and he started cutting it up. He has all kinds of hunting knives. She starts going into this, that, and the other. Then she says, and then, you know, wanting to kill all these animals, and he wants to do something Arabic, and he dresses up like a ninja or an ISIS guy. He has pictures of the rifles and all the Instagram stuff, and he has one of these accounts. They ask him, does he do anything about this, ma'am? She says, no, but he has expressed in different times. He expressed different things, and he takes it off, but he leaves the pictures. There's one of these accounts I had. I texted him on Instagram. I asked him if he's doing okay, and he said, leave me the F alone. He doesn't know he was speaking to me because I have other accounts. I know he's going to explode. There's a bunch of other stuff in here. But I don't know. And this is a fact. When you look at him, hold on. He gets crazy because he will give anybody his money. Then she starts talking about some crazy stuff here. Hold on. She gives the name again. She blows it all out. And then she says, she wants to join the army. He shows up the gun that he purchased. She talks about that gun. Stand by. It's alarming to see all these pictures and to know what he's capable of doing and what could happen. He's not in school any longer. He never graduated high school. He's thrown out all of these schools because he would pick up a chair and just throw it at somebody, a teacher or student, because he didn't like the way they were talking to him. I think about, you know, just him going into a school and shooting the place up. You know, unless information I can give you, that's all I really know. And then she gives her name, da-da-da-da-da. She says, are you an agent? He says, we are intake specialists, man. He says, okay, she says, okay, very good. I didn't want to know whether to call you our Homeland Security or who, but like I said, when you look into this, you can make the decision as whether or not you want to go further or not. I just want to, you know, get it off my chest in case something like does happen. And I do believe something's going to happen. And they get off the phone. That's what's been released. It's amazing. And the FBI had another one where he posted something on a video game and someone called in immediately and said, I'm sure he's on your list, but you need to check this guy out. He was saying some crazy stuff, including, quote, I'm going to be the greatest school shooter of all time. The FBI dropped the ball. They apologized the day of the shooting underneath the overpass, an hour and a half or 2 hours after the news got on there and they had enough news crews for them to open up and start talking. And no one has held them accountable or talked about it, brings it up or whatever. And that's the FBI. Anyway, it's amazing. It's like I said, it's almost nauseating when you look at the warnings that came in and how this went down, despite all of that stuff. Part 3. Oh, you're gonna love me. Let me check up in the chat, see what's going on. Did Schwell leave yet? Damn it, he's still here. Bikes is in. What's up, dude? Travi, dude, my clear backpack. You didn't think it was coming, but we're gonna talk about that armor inside in just a minute. Anyway, everybody's up and running. Schwell's talking shit.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin. I'm having technical difficulties, but it's been a while. So
you're eating, don't lie. Liar. Anyway, appreciate you guys. And then part 3, Guns in America, logically emotional is the only way I can describe it. I wrote this part pretty soon after the shootings and when I got into this, and it's pretty interesting. Table of contents talks about the players, pro-gun, anti-gun, the jumpers, the middle of the road. Got a whole section on things to consider when it comes to gun in America. History of 2A, the media only cares when it benefits them, the truth about the AR-15, firearm death stats can be very misleading, video games, movies, and the internet, all those sections addressed. What's up, Justin? It is gender neutral. Well, actually, it's got pink peace sign. I don't know if that's I don't know what's in there, but based on the size, I have a guess. Therefore, I'm not going to address it. But we'll talk about that later. You guys are funny. You're going to distract me. Let me get through the table of contents, and then I'll answer questions and talk shit. And then I say, time to piss off the extreme gun nuts and the crazy anti-left and anti-gunners. There is no slippery slope. Just throwing it out there. Other truths that need to be considered. And then to the anti-gunners, I let them know that we're not all gun nuts. And I tell them to get off their high horse when it comes to some of the things like confiscation and AR-15, whatever. A little bit more on that. And then part 4, we need real plans now. Solutions. I do have a plan. I do have a real plan that works to help secure the schools. It includes a lot of work and an unlimited budget and a few caveats, including the fact that you can't really stop pure evil. Yeah. Again, we could talk about this all day. You get every budget in America from a school board approved. You could implement all different layers with metal detectors and everything. The truth of the matter is we all know this, that again, in the rest of the world, crazy shit like this happens. 6 guys jump out of the van. Yeah.
Did you hear about the camp just south of Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This ain't Gun News Weekly though, Ross.
I know, Kevin, but it's going to happen again. The fact of the matter is, I don't care what you call it. It's going to happen again. You got a guy training kids to do just that. It's not Gun News Weekly.
I'm fucking with you. They say that, Ross, but that's headline stuff. Who knows what they were really doing there? I mean, they could just say, oh, they were practicing target shooting on a Saturday, and then all of a sudden he was training kids to shoot up schools. I mean, seriously, we don't know yet. Unless that's all been attested to and I missed it.
Yeah, it's out there, but the fact of the matter is evil people are out there doing evil things right now. And if you think that's the only guy, you're sorely mistaken.
Well, my point is that, 6 guys jump out of the back of a van with AK-47s and bad intentions. Doesn't matter what your metal detector system and volunteer watch and, quite frankly, guardian angels or parents or anybody else. It doesn't matter. That many people committed to do something bad, you're in trouble. So the bottom line, again, I have this plan. It makes a ton of sense to me. I'm going to have a graphic on it that makes sense. It starts outside the school. It starts before. It starts in 3rd and 5th grade, 3rd through 5th grade. And then it gets to the point that, yes, if someone shows up and they were all in a car dressed in black with AKs on their laps, someone's going to stop them before they even get in the parking lot to at least get that first alarm up. And then all the other things you can do behind the scenes that do cost money and some that don't. And then there's all this individual stuff that out of the plan, anyone can implement that makes a ton of sense. We'll get there in a second. So after that, I have a plan, conclusions, a little bit input from Ryan Hoover on his conclusions about these types of things and solutions and plans after the years that he's been doing it. Where do we go now? The parents of the victims and what they're up to. And then the appendix, which is crazy. It's a lot. But the report step-by-step of what this guy did. So if there's anything to be learned, we can, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So from there, the much bigger plan is, hold on, is this right? Yeah, so I have this excerpt that I pulled in a part called Tack Daddy 2.0 ? Where I talk about what my direction is and what my plan is going forward with this. So I say here, the collection of training, the reading, the videos, the podcasts, the complete immersion into the subject, combined with my experience covering these events, meaning Gun News Weekly stuff with Ross and everybody, and now with the personal experience of seeing it happen on my own, in my own town, it all added up to a clear signal that it was my role to help people truly understand these issues. Beyond the sound bites, beyond the yelling at a march or a rally, beyond the distractions, my job now is to help people understand all of these issues and much more. And so to that end, where's my camera at? Hold on. I don't know how much of this you guys can see. So the book, it's close. I got a few more little sections to write, a bunch of editing to do, grab all the pictures, put them in there. I'm going to have a busy weekend this weekend, but I'm going to get close. And then from there, like I got, get the book done, get all that stuff done, get the live show up and running. September 6th is going to be our first real live show where we've got, lower thirds and intro music and a real schedule of things. And the topics that you're going to hear us talk about, we'll start promoting what those are, but it's all of this stuff. Everything that adults should be talking about after something like this happens 6 months and a day ago, by the way. And the kids are back to school for a new school year. And I'll let you sit on this one. I'm going to give you two. This is the shit that everyone in the rest of the country doesn't see. There's a kid on campus that has the exemption that he gets to wear his hoodie. It's a big rule that you can't wear hoodies, Ross.
Why? Why does he get an exception?
Well, there's two reasons. First, his brother was killed. And he has a dog full-time, I believe. I think that's the other thing that he has. And the second reason is he was shot in his head himself. That kid's back to school. And guess what happened today on day 2? There's an accidental pull of a fire drill. So you think about how we covered like Mission 22 and all the PTSD with all our soldiers and our veterans. And again, we covered that extensively for years and years and still will. We'll still talk about those things during those times of the year and anniversaries of things that we know about. But you think about these kids, you have 3,000 kids, many of them moved on, but now you have the next generation coming in as freshmen. So you have a couple thousand kids and they're back at school dealing with this shit. So there's conversations that need to be had. Oh, by the way, other than some cosmetic stuff, nothing's really changed over there because of politics. There was $800 million sitting in a fund to be used for school security in the years prior that were never used. There was never training that should have been done for this asshole that never ran in. It's mind-boggling. And I'm not going to focus on this specific event the whole time, but it will be a part of the show. And we've got a lot to go. There's still a lot that's going to happen related to this story, Ross. I don't even want to think about the trial, but it's coming. And you're going to have a bunch of kids pointing at him in a courtroom, giving testimony on what they lived through. Because that's what has to happen in order to put him away forever.
It's crazy, dude.
Thanks, Too Hottie. I appreciate it. So the book is going to come out, and I'm going to do some cool stuff with it. So we'll have this new show. So the new show is called Aware and Prepared Live. And that comes from, again, working with Hiss and doing some stuff, but also the local things that I want to do here. And I did a little one with, have a dozen people showed up, and we talked about this stuff. And, awareness, preparedness, stuff that most of the gun guys that watch Tack Daddy, it from your first hour of training that you ever paid to go to a class. You know what I mean? You know about the OODA loop, about head on a swivel and all that kind of shit, right? And we talked about all that. And basically what it came down to was, Gun News Weekly had its run. We'll talk aware and prepared. We've got the guests. We got the thing. We can still talk, like I said, we can still definitely have some interesting conversations about the people that choose to go beyond all the layers that everyone in America should have. Because I've been looking at numbers and things like that, and there's so many people out there that are realizing, and this is kind of how this all evolved. Think about how many dads that are out here of these kids that are never going to go into a gun store to get a medical class or take a class on awareness. It's just not, you know what I mean? This is not going to fit their lifestyle. However, at the clubhouse that they go to all the time, all of a sudden there's a group meeting and they went to a Facebook page, et cetera, et cetera. So go to the way you can help us. Anyone that's saying, hey, I want to help you with the book and this, and everything's going to happen on awareandprepared.live, which is the URL that's going to happen. We're getting the website built now. And then also on that Facebook page. The URL for the Facebook page is in the description of this video on YouTube. That's where we're going to do a bunch of cool stuff. Here's where it gets even cooler. Because of connections and all the successes and failures, quite frankly, along the way, but more importantly, the successes, we've built a reputation enough that we've got some people that are interested in coming along for the ride. I'm going to run hard with this stuff. We're going to have this show every Thursday night, but I'm going to be on Rob Pincus's shows. I'm going to be on Bill Frady's shows. You're going to see me on a couple other things. We're going to promote the book because it makes sense for people to read this story, understand that it can happen to them. Parkland is a bubble, and the bubble crashed. And I have a unique way to tell people how they can at least be minimally prepared, and then the other steps that they can take should they want to go full bore. And again, be a sheepdog. Ross, you got anything to say? All right, good. Shut up. So
you got to give me a second to unmute, man. I'm looking at chat shit and trying to whiz bang my way through this fucking computer thingy over here. No, I don't have much to say. I'm glad to be back. I hope we can be a positive voice for change around school, and I think it's important to note that guns aren't the only answer.
Right. So I got off base when I was talking about Justin and Heitman. So Justin, just so you know, with his, it comes around that he is an authorized reseller for the Mobilized Rescue Systems med kits. And what makes this so awesome, it's a med kit. Everybody's got med kits. I got a bunch of these and a bunch of different brands, You open it up. I hope this isn't I threw an EpiPen in that one. But what it is, it's got everything that you would want, but then everything's labeled, right? Here's where it gets cool. Imagine a school or an office building or any other institutional type place. Again, an arena you might go to, and they've got the fire extinguisher and the AED. Imagine a big med kit that you open up that has an iPad that comes to life, and on the iPad, you have an interactive instructional way that even, again, a 10-year-old, take a deep breath. Mobilize will help you. And it's going to be hard to keep focusing on this, but you start. Put on your gloves. Is the person bleeding? Let's just say yes. So right there, they're going to say, touch the person where they're bleeding the worst. You touch, it tells you what to do next. So let's just say it's an arm injury. Grab the tourniquet, right? Tells you what it's called. You grab it, and now it's going to literally give you instructions. Next, 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 next.
Boy, I had higher hopes. With that groin area just right there, I figured you'd go for it.
And then it says EMS has arrived. You tap that. It tells you you're going to, again. So now you have technology interacting with medical. We know, as an example here, that trained people on site with little med kits or an institutional pack could have helped save lives. And that's what I'm finding in the data on all of these other ones. When they talk about response times, when they talk about all these other things, we want to help change this. And the way we can help change this is by working with, teaming up with, and partnering with companies like this that make a ton of sense, that are doing it the right way. So Mobilized Rescue Systems is with us. That's going to be someone we talk about. We'll have their experts on. We'll talk about the different kits, et cetera, success stories, all that kind of stuff. So the clear backpacks. Again, someone brought it up. Someone said, I can get them. They showed up in boxes. But all of a sudden, all the kids had to have a clear backpack. Well, we got a phone call a month before school started. No more need for clear backpacks. They realized how... Ross, you can finish that sentence.
Absurd an idea that was, yeah.
It is. But in the meantime, being the tag daddy, I was interested in getting my daughter something that if they had it in their pack, they wouldn't be embarrassed. Again, these are teenage girls. And they wouldn't be embarrassed by it. And talking to friends, I found out that Citizen Armor was the way to go. And they were right. And since then, I reached out after I bought a few of these myself. And they're on board. So Mobilized Rescue, Citizen Armor, we're going to have these products to give away on a literally a monthly, if not bi-monthly basis, Ross, on the show. You're talking about, again, go to citizenarmor.com and tell me how much the backpack insert is. This is not.
I was going to say that backpack insert, dude, that thing could be a lifesaver. You know what I mean?
Well, again, definitely protects the vitals. Definitely can be in a backpack and turned around quickly. The other thing that they have that's coming soon that, again, we'll feature here for sure is they have a notebook. Looks like a Trapper Keeper. Probably two of these with a 3-ring binder in between it. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that you whip that open, drop it down. Now the kid has a ton of protection. This is another layer that anyone and every kid, if you think you give a shit about them and you buy life insurance and all that kind of stuff, why wouldn't you spend $1,000 or whatever it might cost to get your whole family outfitted with body armor, medical kits, and things like stuff from our friends from Taser? Ross, they're still with us.
All right.
Lastly, Shirley, we'll talk about the Taser Pulse, but tonight I'm just going to show you the flashlight, the new flashlight. So you got a flashlight, you turn the flashlight on. Oh, snap. I know. Step back.
Hey, did that end up in a chair?
No.
Oh, no,
this one doesn't. Shut up. This one doesn't do that. I'm going to have her watch this. Hold on. What's the timestamp?
Sorry, Katie.
That's a cool one. That's called the Strike Light. We'll have products from Taser to give away. And there's 2 more companies we're talking to, working with, thinking about that fit a certain niche in this world that also makes sense. But in essence, if you want to support us, sure, buy the book. I'll give you free downloads. You'll get a taste of what the audio book is like. You'll get a taste of what the actual written book is like for free, no problem. And if you choose to buy that, it will support us. It will support this community and people that have been directly affected by this. It'll allow me to get this message out to more people, and you supporting these companies that we're bringing with us will allow us to do the same. Ross, we've never steered anyone wrong in 5 years on product, maybe once.
No, where have we steered anybody wrong? Honestly, anything that we've touched that we
didn't like, he'll come up with something.
I challenge. Well, no, I wouldn't do that. But
like some bullets. Who cares about expense when it comes to saving a life? I think about it the same way, dude. Yeah, and this is part of, again, this message. It's like all these parents. This dude's got Lambos and Rollses and freaking Bentleys to go get the coffee. And we're talking about a couple $100 investment in the products that, should some shit happen, you're giving your children a fighting chance versus bullshit, which is the ultimate conclusion of the book is, putting kids in a corner and having a teacher that's somehow going to magically stop them should they breach the door is ridiculous. So all of those layers, I think we're going to talk, we'll have a whole school security thing. I want to take this thing. I want to make a real production and get 5 or 6 of these experts like Rob and Brian and Aaron and Todd, and get all these people in a room and have real conversations about these topics, film it professionally, and get it out to the world that way. And again, we're going to have people great sponsors that come along with us and help us do that stuff. You guys helping us. It should be an interesting year. I'm committed to it. This is my life. I had a couple people say to me, you sure you want to get, involved? Enough time has passed. The loud, crazy voices have simmered down enough that people realize that they're loud. I'll challenge you. I'll challenge you to a duel. We should have a paintball thing. Just me and Schwell. Settle it for good. Winner takes home the other person's vehicle. This is a great idea.
Haven't you lost a couple guns that way?
No. That's just hanging out with him. You come home and then you're like, where's that? Did someone take down AR-15 pistol? No, I got it still. Okay, hold on. Is that a blackout custom paint job? It is. It's product placement sales right there, Ross.
Yeah.
He gave up on stealing things? Have you lost any more drones? No. See, people would pay to see a GoPro on Schwo at his face and him going, ow, 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 like I would paintball you. I would paintball you all day. Do you have any more paintball gear so we could do this without having to rent?
I do. I have tons of paintball gear. I got a gun that's probably 15 years old. I got a helmet that's probably 15 years old. Shit, 15, probably 20.
We went from the real message we want to get out there. But the point is, there's going to be other events as well that I'm going to try to position myself to get the invite, get out there, get the message out there, just be a part of this overall. I'm going to leave you with this, Ross, because I think we're ready to wrap up. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I got a floor to put in.
A floor?
A floor.
Damn, dude. Hold on. Stand by 1 second. Did I close it like a dummy? Of course I did. Hold on. Yeah, sure shit did. Hold on. I'm just opening it up because I think it's here. All right. So check this out. Guess what I found the other day, Ross?
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm not even going to guess because that's going to go wrong.
Right. Hold on. Let me close my bookmarks. No one needs to see. We need a theme song. If anyone has original music that's dope that they want to give us for like a music underlay as we start the show, talk about what we're going to talk about that night, the little intro, bring it.
A little Milli Vanilli or some shit in there.
Hey, easy. I don't know about that. Can you see this?
Hang on. Yeah, of course I can.
Right. So this is something, an infographic that was done back in the day when I was with another place. Different people have different reasons for choosing to carry a gun. Host of the podcast Gun News Weekly, Kevin Reichert, shares 3 reasons why he chooses to carry a gun. It's up to me to get the proper training and tools needed for a life or death situation. It's my constitutional right. My responsibility to be armed. Listen to this, Ross. Reichert sees being armed as part of his responsibility to protect himself and his loved ones. He argues that he doesn't feel that there's a boogeyman out to get him, but he's aware that bad people do bad things, so it's his responsibility to be ready in any type of situation. Amazing.
Can't go wrong with that.
Got all that training, did all that stuff, and I was helpless during this situation. However, as we all know, there's just thousands and thousands of situations that happen year in and year out where people that could be prepared. Think about how many lives you could save if we had a system like this in every university, just every university where you have young adults that are able to be like, holy shit, you know what? I got that app when I got to campus, they made us download that app and there's a situation and I've never applied a tourniquet before, but boom, boom, boom. I mean, just, you can think of all the different resources and reasons that something like that makes sense. The body armor, the tasers.
Just think about, Kevin, all you got to do is think about that one situation where you're in that situation and you're helpless. You have nothing. You can't help because you don't have any medical gear. And you're watching people who could have been saved that you can't save because you're not prepared.
There were shirts and belts and barricades used for, gurneys in Las Vegas. People used whatever they could. And we'll talk about all the different things that, again, it makes sense to have in your car. It makes sense to have on yourself, on your person. And it makes sense to protect your kids with too, quite frankly. If the school system is incapable or incompetent or unable to provide the protection, it's up to you as a parent. So
it's your school district. Your kids go there.
Ooh, we got a big battle coming here soon. It's going to be interesting.
The fact of the matter is we need to stop relying on all this governmental bullshit, whether it be the school board or the political leaning in your neighborhood, and we need to make the changes. It's our government at the end of the day. It's our school board. It's our kids.
It is. And it's America.
It's our responsibility. It's not their responsibility. It's our responsibility to protect our kids.
It is. So there's your update. September 6th, that'll be the night we launch the new show, Aware and Prepared Live. We'll also be there. I don't even know what the first topic's going to be, but I can tell you that shortly before, during, or after that show, we'll be launching this book as well, at least in a digital form. So the way I think it'll sit is you'll be able to get the digital download of the audio, the digital download of the book immediately. You'll be able to donate. There'll be a GoFundMe set up as well if people want to just literally help the cause and believe in what we're doing. It'll be very clear what we're up to. So there you go. That's the latest. It's the first week of September, the first Thursday night, 8 p.m. We're moving it back an hour so Ross can have some more freedom with dinner and family and that kind of stuff. And it just fits me better as well, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's super early for me. It's only 6 o'clock my time. So I'm good to go.
There you go. Yes,
dude, I got to say, I'm blown away at all the people. It's great to see all these guys back. You know what I mean? And some new faces as well in the chat. It's just genuinely, I genuinely feel thankful for these guys who've been waiting for us to come back. You know what I mean? And not necessarily waiting, but the minute we're back, they're there. You know, Dan and gosh, the list goes on and on. You know all
right. Well, talk to Justin directly at his if that Heitman International, he's in the chat. Definitely talk directly to him or go over and search his stuff. Again, he put on this thing. I was on the video. There was back and forth, adult conversations going on to help people, and he's got the supplies and a real plan. So it's real cool. I'm putting this team together, Ross, slowly but surely, and it's coming together great to the point that we're going to be able to do some real cool purpose-driven stuff. It's not over. It's not over here. We can talk about the list of stuff we're going to talk about is awesome. Prioritizing it and getting through it's going to be interesting, but it'll happen. So everybody that's out there, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for watching us. You can help us by sharing this one and then by tuning in on the first episode and contributing however you can. And then from there, just supporting us along the way by sharing the shows. You're going to see this in more than just the gun chats. You see this in a lot of different places. Let me see if there's anything else.
Shout out to my son who's watching, by the way.
Right on. He made a very funny, smart-ass comment the other day on something. I can't remember what it was. I was like,
you think you guys were shooting shit up, or we were playing video games or something?
Soft armor. Hold on. I had the citizen page. Stand by. I thought I did. Oh no, that must be in the one that I closed. Hold on, I can open it. Go to citizenarmor.com. There's two things there, and there's one thing that I'm very interested in actually, like, I haven't been giddy about getting a box, and I haven't even talked to them about this yet. They have something called the T-Shield. It's a bulletproof T-shirt.
Holy crap. That's got to be hotter than hell.
There's that. There's the Civi concealed vest, like you'll see like cops wear, and then the full-on shit hit the fan tactical bulletproof, whatever. Hold on. The inserts, just so you know, like I just showed you, depending on the size, 7x10 up to 11x15, price $69 to $139. It actually reminds me, where the hell did I put it? Oh. And again, this would work in a briefcase, no problem, right? It reminds me of a mouse pad. Kid in college takes that out, puts it down. There's their mouse pad. That's what it reminds me of in terms of thickness, lightweightness, nanotube technology, which I'm going to wait until they're on the show to talk about it. You can also download over there 5 mistakes victims make in an active shooter situation. So they've got some cool PDFs you can get for free. Bang some stuff around. Any other questions in the chat, Ross?
No. Appreciate Justin being here and sharing his information with everybody.
Right on. Right on. Projected release date of the book.
Soon.
Again, I think there's probably another 3 days of serious banging this out that I'm going to need to put in, again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. I'll have a real good update on Monday, but not that much longer. If I keep going at the pace I'm going, I need to write a strong conclusion overall on it. And then I'll go back and write the intro. The issue is this, Ross, and DP, what's up, dude? The issue is this. So then, when you think about writing a book, how do you get it all organized from nothing to something? One of the lists is a handwritten list of all of the pertinent Facebook posts. So there's stuff here like on the 22nd, the Panthers, this hockey team, Luongo got on the ice and literally broke down in tears talking about, I live in Parkland, my kids live in Parkland. That whole speech, that's one of those sub things that I think would be important to share with everybody. I already have one on Rizzo when he was over at the Candlelight, because he's just recently graduated, went to college, and then ended up, or did he go to college? I don't even know. I think he did. Probably did. And you can imagine how many things were posted. I mean, I don't even have a section written right now on the changes that the Florida gun laws. You're funny, dude. That the Florida gun laws that were implemented. Remember, Rick Scott came, he went to the funerals, and like a week later, I told everybody, I was like, I saw that guy's face. He's gonna sign that shit. And he did. You remember we did that on Gun News Weekly.
Yep.
Just stuff that deserves at least a talk, a conversation, or at least a mention. There's so much about, I have sections that talk about stuff, but there's so much more I could go on. So the other good news is there's some gun related and industry related publications that are interested in some of the gun related content that's in there. So the section about me and ATAC, think about that one. You got a 14-year-old that you've trained that guns are good in the hands of responsible people, used responsibly. I don't think there's probably anyone in the chat that stayed on for this long that hasn't seen an ATAC video.
No.
And then all of a sudden, again, she's at funerals with her friends and got to be questioning things and got to be asking herself questions. And between us, she's off singing because she got a call back. Thank God. There's certain milestones along the way that some of them I do mention in the book, but there was the one time when I said to her, we were somewhere talking about it, and she revealed to me everything she went through in great detail. And at the end of the conversation, after a couple questions, I just said to her, I was like, so when you're old enough and you're living in your own place, will you choose to have a gun in the home to take care? And I couldn't even get it out of the mouth. And she said, of course I will. So there you go. The instilling of being in a school where no one could do anything, I'm sure that probably resonates to in life. It's up to me, because she knows that. So, all right. Anything else? Ghost is out. Later, dude. Travis is in. What's up? We're wrapping up, dude. So go back, check it out. We broke it all down. Like I said, I got a website design in the works. I got pizza boxes. There's the progression.
You know it's going to be successful if it got written on it.
It's got a pizza box and a big ass whiteboard. Look how big this thing is.
I know, dude.
Enormous. I'm breaking shit. There's the whole plan. Y'all just pause it.
If there's one thing I've learned from just life in general, it's baby steps, man. You take a couple of baby steps before you know it, you got yourself halfway there, you know?
Well, the truth of the matter is it all comes back to family. This whole thing is about the fact that my family's going to continue to live through this every day. There is no going back. They're going to have, again, the craziness is crazy, Ross. They're going to have they're talking about having code red drills. So a drill of an active shooter on campus and what to do monthly in this school.
That's going to breed complacency.
Does that make any sense to all these kids that have been spending thousands of dollars for therapy? Does it make any sense? This is the kind of shit that no one's talking about.
Well, Kevin, it's also when the real one happens, it's a cry wolf situation. You want them prepared. You just don't want them numb to it.
Yep. Thanks, Travis. I appreciate it, dude. And everybody else, again, this was another hangout. We'll have that real professional show for you come September with all the graphics and fun music and shit. Ross, I might even get you a soundboard.
Shit, I might actually get my video working by then.
Can you imagine, Ross, if you could sit somewhere and just be like,
"You think you can handle this? Dunk.
I mean, I don't want to abuse it, but
yeah, yeah.
You think you can handle this? Dunk.
Or not? That is the question. I know most of our viewers can. Appreciate it, Travis. Thanks everybody else for tuning in. If we didn't shout out your name, sorry.
I got to go put a floor in.
Yeah, I got to go too. We're gonna get going. Anybody needs anything, let me know. Shoot me a PM if you want to help in any way. And along the way, we'd appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. In the meantime, share this one, and we will see you. What is it? 3 weeks or 2?
A couple of weeks. I don't remember, but it's 2.
I can tell you. It's all right. So the next Thursday is the 23rd. Then the 30th. We'll do a little teaser on the 30th.
Okay.
Hold on. That's August. Yeah, that's August. And then September 6th is the next one. You got it.
Looking forward to being back, man. Helping out, doing what I can do.
All right. Later. Peace.